Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim 2017 video. Today we're on the Edinburgh to Glasgow route, just sitting at Queen Street at the moment, on another Chris Horsfield scenario. This was actually released a few days ago. I did actually have an exclusive on this. I had this, Chris gave me this first before it was coming out on the Facebook page, but I was having a few issues with my computer and everything was going a bit haywire, so hey, here we go. Good evening driver, welcome to Glasgow Queen Street. Tonight you are driving 1 Romeo 74, the 1900 ScotRail service to Edinburgh Waverley. Calling at Croy, Falkirk High, Linlithgow, Haymarket, Edinburgh Waverley. Please release the doors and allow passengers to board. We can do that, no bother. So yeah, there's been a few little gremlins creeping in with my machine the past couple of days, so that's why the videos haven't been coming out as fast. But a big thanks to all of you that joined the Facebook page. I'll put another link in the description for those of you that haven't. Over the last week I think we've had like another, 30 odd people joining. It's been lovely. Even had one lad giving away a route that he had on Steam, that he bought extra on Steam earlier, so well done Jack Skelton. It's very kind of you, mate. Right, Queen Street. When I was doing the scenario the other day, I was basically trying to think when the last time was that I was in Queen Street. And I realised since they've done the Airdrie to Bathgate thing a few years ago, because I can go straight from Edinburgh Waverley now to Mulgai, even though it's slower, I tend to do that, then come to Queen Street and then get to Mulgai from Queen Street. Just because I've got the kids and everything with me and loading buggies and unloading all that rubbish from one end to the other, from one train to another, it's easier just to get on at Waverley and get off at Mulgai. So it's been a while, and I'm not sure if Queen Street's back open yet. It was closed. They've done a full refurb of it and changed all this entrance has been changed. Some of the photos I saw were amazing. They've dug up all around here and really a massive bit of engineering. Looked amazing. And of course, some of you will notice, being a Chris Horsfield scenario, there's some extra strange liveries here. I don't know what this one is. This is like an unbranded Saltire one, so I'm guessing is it painted and then vinyled? I don't know. I haven't got close enough to one of the 170s really to have a look, if I'm honest with you. Well, I have been on them, but I just haven't looked. I'm sure all the dots are vinyl, but I wonder if it is a purple paint, the blue paint underneath, but it's a slightly different colour. Anyway, we're going to get a right way. The eagle-eyed viewers among you will have noticed that I have the updated cab texture pack in here. I will link that as well if I can find it in the description below, as well as a link to my page, my Facebook page, and Chris's Facebook page, where you'll be able to find this scenario. So let's get rolling. Frame rate wise, this route is lovely to me, but knowing Chris, and the one thing he did tell me about this scenario, because he always leaves little sneak bits in there but never tells you what they really are, it's a Sunday evening, so it's a Sunday 7 o'clock service, so I'm not expecting loads of traffic, but I'm probably expecting depots to be a little bit busy, which may interrupt my frame rates a little. So I just noticed the occlusion from the tunnels, that's when it goes dark, was after I'd been in the tunnel for quite a while. This is the Cowlares incline. This is a fair old stretch of incline, this. We've got there 156. It's a Super Alps one with a scrolling destination display. I do like those. Super Alps again. Alps done some amazing reskins, some real work that's gone into it. I will link his webpage as well below. In fact, I don't know who's done the train I'm driving. I don't know whose reskin this one is, if I'm honest with you. I'd need to ask. Now, we haven't managed to do a full run of this yet, so if we are missing anything, it will pop up. It wouldn't be me doing somebody's scenario that's they're very kindly given me if something isn't missing at least. I actually had to pull one of my previous videos because of Chris's, because there was literally no stock in there that should have been. It was a bit embarrassing. What have we got here? Another 170 in Saltire. Excellent. Oh, getting a little bit jumpy here, so I'm guessing there's going to be a fairly full depot around this corner. I know I say this every time I drive the 170, but I so wish that this was redone. These are versatile machines. There are a lot of routes we could use these on. That we do use these on. Yeah, got a fairly packed depot coming up. What have we got? Just make my frame rate scream a bit. 170s, 156s, 158s. Couple of orange men. It's cool, isn't it? Something really pleasing about train depots. I mean, if you're a train fan, I mean, like, being able to get a glimpse of a depot with loads of stuff in it is awesome. Well, for me it is, anyway. I remember as a kid, I don't know if any of you know Cambridge, but if you go to the Coldham's Lane Bridge, if you look to the left, there's Cambridge Depot there. Nowadays it's just a sort of servicing point for cross-country 170s, but before, years ago, it was a postal. There was a lot of the postal stock was serviced there. So when I was a kid, it was trying to get a peep over the bridge if you were driving over was a very nice sight. And actually on the chimney there used to be a Thomas the Tank face. Like, actually it looked like they'd obviously had a steam engine with a fiberglass face over the top, and it was hung on the chimney off the boiler house at the depot. It was very cool. It was owned by LNWR, and I think now is Arriva. But I mean, it's been used for some weird things relatively recently. When TransPennine got the 185s, all the 158s, the 3-car 158s were stored there for a bit. Not all of them, I don't think, but quite a few of them were. And a 3-car 158 was a rare sight in Cambridge. I mean, like, never seen. Plenty of 2-cars. If you were going to Birmingham or Stansted, that was all 2-car 158s. Peterborough. And the Express livery, I loved it. Still one of my favourite liveries as well. I used to think they were super duper modern because they had a payphone on them. That was one way when I was little I used to tell a train was really new, because they had a bit of smoked glass in there somewhere, like everything in the 90s had, and a payphone in the vestibule. 91s had them as well. So as our first stop, Croy, 7 miles. Some 66s up here. Now these 66s will be Freightliner 66s, and they are they're DP Simulations, one of Richard Fletcher's reskins, I think. Maybe, don't quote me on that. But they're for the Trent Valley, West Coast Mainline Trent Valley 66. And the container branded pack is also from DP Simulations as well. Really enjoyed installing that. There was no geos to copy over or anything, so it was a nice, easy, quick install. And a lot of the reskins coming off DP Simulations at the minute are just putting in these little batch files. You just go to the folder where the train was, double click it, and it copies over the geos for you, which is really nice. I'd love to see some of the other reskin producers doing that as well, especially for things like the 91s and stuff. I mean, it takes hours doing the 91s, HSTs. So with the ScotRail 170s, these it's now Bellio that have the franchise of ScotRail, and they've got it in theory until 2025. So it'd be nice to see what they do. Bellio also I've got Greater Anglia, and I think they own part of Northern and a few others. They've got their finger in many franchises. But with the general election looming, we may lose the franchise system eventually. It might take a while. So basically what Labour are saying is that they will renationalise, and they'll do that by every time a franchise ends, the government will just take it over. And I'm not going to make this video political. I work in the public sector, so you can probably guess what I'm voting. But nationalisation of the rail network for me is a big bonus. It's something I've researched loads and loads, looked into loads and loads, read about loads and loads, spoken to people, God, lots of research into it. And even though there's been some really convincing articles that say basically don't, and it's working, I'm sure it does work. It is working to a point, but we can't get away from the fact that the railway costs us now double what it did. Sorry, not double, more than it did when we were private, when it was nationalised. So I was trying to read my brake gauge there and say complicated things in one sentence. Doesn't really work. So the last 2 years of the intercity franchise, so that was West Coast and East Coast, but the long distance routes, we were making a profit. No subsidy, no nothing. British Rail Intercity was making a profit. No other operator, no other state-owned operator does that, or I think ever has. So since then, so that was 1994, I think Intercity was sold off. Passenger numbers have doubled. Now we all thought in those days, people were thinking passenger numbers were going to decline, because that was just about the start of EasyJet, Ryanair, all those Air UK, all the sort of cheap, low-cost fare operators were starting to come in. People going, rail's dead, long-distance rail is gone. Yeah, Network South East, short-distance commuter runs, yeah, fine, long-distance now. How wrong they were. So we've got so think about it, double the passenger numbers, and it's still costing the government more to run than when it was nationalised. Something doesn't add up there, does it? Where's that all going? And when we have had the chance to run franchises, which has happened, Lots of you will remember East Coast with great fondness. I definitely do. I was very fond of East Coast. They were a great operator. Trains that I went on were always clean. Let down by infrastructure a few times, but a bit of a harsh break there. Trains were always clean. Introduced first class complimentary food and drink. Good operator. Fares were good as well. I mean, the fare jump from East Coast to VTEC, Virgin Trains, has been quite big. That was government done. It was owned by directly operated railways, I think they were called, which was in fact an arm of the Department for Transport, or Office of Road and Rail, whatever they were. And they were making money. It was working. It was working. So I would be pleased to see it back nationalised. How they're going to do it with the freight operators and stuff, I don't know. But I suppose if the freight railways are nationalised as well, so freight operators, we could sort out the levy between road and rail transport, make rail transport more affordable. A good friend of mine runs his own haulage company. He's quite a big hauler. He's got a fleet of, I think, probably about, I don't know how many he's got now. 9, 10, maybe, 10, 11 trucks. 10, 11 lorries, loads of trailers. Does quite a lot between Port of Felixstowe and sort of Birmingham, places like that. And we were talking the last time we were out, and it was basically half the price to take it on a truck than it was to stick on a train. Now, that wasn't what the operator was charging. That was what the fees on top of that were that the government sort of set. Crazy. And while I would like to see my friend out of a job, he makes a lot of money doing other things, a lot of specialist car transport and things like that. So, I mean, the containers are just sort of his backbone, really. But it's criminal. It's criminal in this day and age, an environmentally friendly society. We know what CO2 is doing. Let's just make trucks cheaper. It's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing trucks on the road as well, but I don't like being stuck behind 30 of them on the A14 most days. Where have we got next? Falkirk High. 9 miles. So yeah, that's my me off my soapbox about nationalisation. So a few things have happened in the past couple of days, train sim wise. Just Trains have got a 2 for 20 deal going on, which is pretty good. I wish it was across all their stock, but it's not. It's on 12 selected things. But I think Western Main Lines is in there, and the 222. If there was something I needed as well as the 222, I need the 222, but if there was something else that I needed as well, I'd probably be jumping on it. I'm trying to think of something. I might go for that Atlantic high-speed route, but I mean, some of the videos of it look pretty shocking. Ash, who runs the EWS 60062 channel, I think it's called now, he did a video of it, and yeah, it looks like it was made about 10 years ago. It's a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but I'd pay for what? I don't even know how much the 222 is normally, 14, 15 quid. So if I got it for a £5, yeah, I wouldn't mind spending a £5 on it, so I probably will buy it. And would you guys like to see any of that? I mean, like, don't get me wrong, if there was another country, if somebody said to me, right, you can't drive a British train, what would you go for? It would be French. Well, it'd be a toss-up, to be fair. It'd be a hard toss-up between the Dutch and the French. I like French trains, the French rail network, the high-speed network. I'm a fan of. Just sort of, it's a bit like Citroens. That's what I was sort of akin their trains to. Citroens are a little bit out there with their design, aren't they? They're sort of quite quirky. Don't get me wrong, I mean, as a kid, my stepdad had a Xantia, which I loved. It was pretty bloody rapid as well, that thing. It was big. I have since owned, well, the missus has since owned a C8, which is very nice. So I'm not knocking Citroens in any way, shape or form. But their trains are sort of designed a bit like the same designer as Citroen. They're a bit sort of out there, over-the-toppy, avant-garde-y sort of strange looking, like is it the RTG, that turbine thing they had? So it was a gas turbine locomotive, but it wasn't a locomotive, it was like a multiple unit. Brilliant bit of kit. Looked mental. The prototype for the TGVs were also gas turbine, I think, and that thing looks nuts as well. And the TGV, as much as we've come the original TGVs, the Paris Southeast ones, and even the Atlantique, we've come to know them as pretty standard styling. But if you look back when they came out, those things were like spaceships. Absolute spaceships. If you go to like the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s, we had the Class 90 and the 91, they had the Cybec. I mean, even its name is cool, Cybec. That's a beast of a looking thing, that is cool. So yeah, would you like to see some French stuff? I mean, I'm quite happy to do some of the TGV stuff. DTG teased us with the Marcel Avignon route with the TGV duplex, and then basically gave us this pretty looking thing that didn't do much. It was sort of a point and shoot train, as I'd call it. It was pretty useless. The French safety systems are still a bit of an enigma to me. TVM 430, yeah, I can do that, but their other stuff is pretty crazy. The way they also do their in-cab stuff, there's like what they call a disjoncteur, which basically translates to a circuit breaker. Even had to ask my French mate what that meant, and she went, well, what circuit breaker? I was like, all right, yeah, cool, I don't know what that was going to be. So that's like the reset for everything. They're really well done. And on a run, you can be changing pantographs like 2 or 3 times. You get like on the right hand side, like down say here on the cab of the TGVs, you've got pantograph selectors and all sorts of things like that. Just adds an extra element of something to do in the cab, which I really like. And it might also pave the way for a bit of a Eurostar. A 373 would be one of my dreams for Train Simulator. So yeah, what I'd like to know from you guys is, would you like to see that? Leave a comment below and let me know. I probably am going to buy it anyway, but just stick a comment on to let me know that it is worth me doing it. And also give me your top 5 things of what you'd want to see in Train Sim. I think for me, top would definitely be the 373. It would be the Eurostar with some bit of the Channel Tunnel. Whether it was just to Calais, whether it was the classic line, so the 750 volt system, South London down that way, then through the Channel Tunnel to Calais, or it's high speed one in Calais, I wouldn't really care. Next would probably be the Le Shuttle sets. So they're the most powerful, I don't know if they still are, the most powerful single locomotive in the world. They're cool, they're unique. Cool cabs as well. Then it would be something, number 3 would be APTP. Love to see that. Keep your eye out for a video about that soon. 4, tricky choice. What would I like to see? A decent 317. I'd like someone like Wagons to pick up the 317 baton and go flying with it. Yeah, it's hard to say. I haven't really thought about it that much, really. Because I'm not a steam fan, I think there is quite a lot of steam trains still lacking from train sim. But diesel and electric, we're relatively well covered. There are some still quite glaring emissions that I can't think of off the top of my head, but there are a few. So yeah, just gives your top 5 in the comments, and then I can sort of look at them and go, oh yeah. See, the 315 would be there as well for the Great Eastern Main Line, but that is being done by wagons, so I'm not too fussed. But saying that, there was also an APTP being done, but that seems to have sort of died a death. I think the thread hasn't been looked at since about 2014. Another strange bit of cab occlusion. Have we got any at all? It's really weird. I thought this was one of the routes that got the occlusion modification when they first started doing it. So the occlusion started with, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was when TSX, when Train Sim went from Railworks to Train Sim 2012 and then onwards, they brought out this TSX button that you could click, and that brought in a lot of these new features, a lot of the extra lighting features and things like that, which was sort of revolutionary for an engine, but it meant all of the routes that came pre that needed to be modified. So Linlithgow in 7 miles. And I thought this was one of the ones that needed doing, but it isn't. And this is a clean install as well. The only thing that I've modified that could be making any difference is the cab texture upgrade, but I couldn't see that making a big difference. I'd also like to see a 170 where it's got the, see these blue bits here, on the Anglia version they come right down, and on some of the cross country ones as well I think have it, and it comes right down. More like the Electro Stars, the 357s are they? On the LTNS, they've got them. There we go. There's a route that I think needs to be done. The LTNS with the 357 and with the 312. Big fan of a 312 as well. 309 Claxon unit, that would look good as well. .302 for the Liverpool Street stuff, the older stuff. I've actually got more old stuff than I thought, and southern stuff with the British Rail Blue Pack and things like that. But one of the guys on my Facebook page asked me to do a 506 on the Woodhead route the other day, and I'd bought the Woodhead route for the new Penistone line that was released a couple of weeks ago, last week before. And I'd had the Woodhead route on a previous Steam account that was linked to a work email address which I lost access to, and even with a letter from work, I couldn't do anything about it. I'd lost it basically. And I'd used to keep everything that I downloaded. This is going to sound really odd, but it was something I used to do, because I used to wipe my hard drive quite regularly on my laptop to keep it running. Was things I downloaded or bought, I'd keep on CD. Whether that was music, documents, games, not necessarily games, but like DLC for games or add-ons or stuff from UK Train, something like that. And I found my one of my IHH CDs with the DC Electrics pack on, so I do have that. I just took it for a little spin a minute ago before I did this, and it's going to take me a little bit of practice before I can do a video on it, but it is possible. The Woodhead route isn't one of my favourites, really, at all. This is the bridge. We're at Linlithgow. Coming up now-ish. I was a little bit early, but it is pretty. The station's not far off the other side, so we'll coast over it. If we did go nationalised again, though, I think I would miss the variety of liveries. But then again, saying that, look at sectorisation, just pre-privatisation. There's no reason why we couldn't go back to that sort of thing. Plenty of liveries around then. Oh, I've come in here well slow. I don't really know what my favourite post-privatisation livery is, or has been. GNR. Loved a bit of GNR. Pre-Mallard though, pre the Mallard doors. I know the red doors are there were put on for a reason, and we needed to have different colour doors for a reason. How good was that? Yeah, alright. Could have gone a bit further. So this being a Chris Horsfield scenario, you'll notice that every train we pass will have the correct destination display. You will also, something that which you won't notice in this video because I won't really see that many of it to show you, they all have different numbers. You'll never see the same numbered train twice, which I can see the point of. So this is Linlithgow. It's a town I don't think I've actually ever been to. I've been through, never been into it. So next stop is Haymarket. 16 miles. I won't lie, these track run sounds are starting, the joint sounds are starting to do my nutting a little bit. That's something I'd like to learn how to do. Just take sounds from other trains and put them into mine. If I could do that, I'd probably be quite happy with this. What I'd like to do is make the braking steps as they are on the combined traction brake controller. So you have 1, 2, and 3, and emergency. But it isn't. It's done in percentage, like on here. I don't know about power. See, power's like that, but braking isn't. It's like infinite braking, but stepped power. It should be stepped brake as well. Silly little things. Even turning the master key keeps me happy. I don't think these were TMSs as such on these 170s. I know in the more modern, the 172s and stuff, some of them have them even like here. What do we have up there? Turning on the train lighting on and off is another thing I really enjoy. Simple man with simple pleasures, me. A DSD would be nice. You could maybe isolate it with those. A lot of the other 170s have a really cool windscreen wiper control here. It's a bit like a direction selector off an older train on its side. I quite like that. I don't know if the ScotRail ones did actually ever have it. There's a few classes of 170 in there. There's like there'll be a 170, there'll be 171, a 172, a 170, not 172. There'll be a 170-2, 170-3, 170-4. I don't know how many different sort of marks of them there was really, because they were originally built by ABB, weren't they? Or Adtrans, then ABB. Can never remember. Maybe they weren't ABB, maybe they were just Adtrans. It's an 8 limit coming up. And that was Derby. Just looking at them now, there's 122 units of 170s. It's a lot of 170s, isn't there? Right, subclasses, let's have a look. So it's categorised into 6 subclasses. Jeez, oh. That's a lot of subclasses. Usually trains that have that many subclasses have been around 40 odd years. So Scotland are the largest operated 170s with 55 3-car sets. It says here originally 34 of them had first class accommodation. I quite liked the first class accommodation on a 170. When I used to go up to Scotland quite often, I'd go first class if I could get a cheap enough ticket. And I actually had my profile picture on Facebook for a long time, a can of Tennant's underneath the first class sticker of a 170 on a 170 table. I'll put that on the Facebook page for you to see if I remember. So then Transpennine Express operated 9. I don't know what happened to theirs. Where did they go? Did they go to Chiltern? Yeah, Chiltern took them. Then there's Hull trains, which is why you can use a 170 on the East Coast Main Line. So Hull trains began its London King's Cross Hull service using 170s. These are on a short-term lease from Anglia Railways, and then it got 3 of its own 173s and returned the Anglia ones. And then those Hull trains ones ended up with ScotRail again. And then there was Midland Main Line. Oh. Is this because we're coming up to the junction that's going to give us a massive speed restriction? I don't know. So another double. Yeah. It's quite pretty, that, isn't it? I could have done with that being a bit earlier. Yeah, this will be us coming up to Edinburgh now. Right, where were we? Midland Main Line. Well, the first operator to get 170s in 1988. And these also operated down the East Coast Main Line. And summer Saturday only services from London to York. And then Central trains, that livery that when I was a kid and that first came out, I thought was the dog's kahunas. And now I look at it and it's still, I still quite like it, but it looks Fisher Price. Taste comes with age, I suppose. Now, where did they all end up? They got 23 two-car 175s. They went to Transpennine Express. Okay. And then there was the cross-country ones. Well, they would have gone on to cross-country. So yeah, Anglia Railways. Or the 2 batch of Turbostars, but first 3-car Class 172s. Now these are the ones with the sort of full cowled front end. So there's a cowling over the front end that goes right down like I showed you earlier. Other units including the spot-tired set 173.99 were used at Anglia's short-lived Norwich to Basingstoke London Crosslink service in 2002. That's cool. London to Basingstoke, Norwich to Basingstoke. I like that a lot. Now it's those units that pass by my local line these days. Gone are the days of 156s and 150s and 153s. I still do see there still is the odd 156. There still is the odd. I haven't seen a 153 in a long while, but never say never. And then South West England, so South West Trains had a fleet of 8 two-car ones. Now that was for the Goblin service and Waterloo, Salisbury, Reading, Southampton. All but one of these units was transferred to First Transpennine Express at the end of 2006 in exchange for some of the 158s. Sorry, it was the southern ones that did the Goblin one. Not Goblin, the Marshalling, wasn't it? Christ, I didn't check that last signal. I've just read something here that I don't know if it's right. In August 2016, Abellio selected bi-mode units for the East Anglia franchise to replace the 170s. And the 16 diesel power units will be cascaded to Northern from ScotRail. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. Oh, it's just gone green, that's good. I'm always cagey about yellows on these scenarios because Chris always tries to keep you on your toes. So that's just come through Edinburgh Parkway. So talking of Parkway stations, the day this goes live, so that'll be Sunday, is the day that Cambridge North station opens. Isn't that exciting? Half tempted, my missus at college tomorrow, so I'm half tempted to take the kids myself up on a run from Cambridge, 158, 170 combo. Take a run from Cambridge to Cambridge North. I'm not going to rush in. Not due until 1949-30. And we're looking at 48-30 at the moment, so that's alright. I'm sure as we come past Murrayfield and Haymarket Depot, it's going to be pretty laggy. If I look out that side, I get 20 odd. I've got my FPS limited at the moment, so it's not going to shoot up to the 60s and 70s that this route can run at when it wants to. Double yellow, see? So I'm stopping at Haymarket anyway. $3.22. Oh, they're 320s. 320s in Scotland, aren't they? And 322s. And that is definitely a single yellow ahead by the looks of it. I'm saying that definitely by the looks of it, yeah. Yeah. Haymarket's busy, as it would be on a Sunday night. .156 in the carriage washer there. Like that. Sorry, I'm using my binoculars. You know, those ones I keep down here in my bag. 55 170s. It's a lot of 170s. Ah, it's just cleared. Excelente. So it's clear into Haymarket now anyway. Platform 3. Don't get me wrong, I'm pleased to see Edinburgh, but it's not my city. We've got over there, is that a 158? Yep. I don't think I've ever got off a train or on a train at Haymarket. Easy, mate. Come on, that way. Oh, oi. Back off. Jesus. Not quite sure what you're doing either. No, we'll leave you alone. Oh, it's another 1561, 158, 170 combo. I always quite like seeing the 170 coming something else, because they were sort of the first privatisation, post-privatisation stock ordered, I think. Maybe, are they? Well, they had the BSI coupler anyway. So that's this bad boy that isn't. What? The one on the 158's like tucked right in by the looks of it on the model of on Train Sim. It's just not there. That's odd. See, look, even the one sitting here is sorry, not in service. That's Chris for you. What about destination line on this end? Yep, not in service. Why do you sometimes and not other times get the guards buzzer in this thing? I don't know. So 1.17 miles to Haymarket, through Princess Gardens and then into Haymarket. Oh, sorry, Waverley. And that'll be the end of this run. And I'll stick it up and wait for the message from Chris going, yeah, there's that message from there, there's that message from there, such and such and such and such didn't show up. Going a little bit fast coming through this. was alright. It's a very pretty city, Edinburgh. And even coming in by train is very pretty. And if you like model railways, have a look for a search for a guy called Dave Class170. His layout's called Dean Park Station, and it's loosely modelled on sort of Edinburgh. And it's stunning. That was a 91 setting. 156, 170. I'm gonna have a float around Edinburgh and just have a look what's around, because knowing Christy has stuck something in. Less than 10 over those TPWS grids there. I don't know if they're actually, if they work on this or not. Nice one. Just do that full service. Just go and have a look around Waverley before we get taken out of the game. We won't go too far around there because we're missing a couple of items. Why is that? This is really annoying. The geos are in there. I can completely guarantee you they are in there. We've got anything down this end. I know he was talking about putting something down there, but you won't go down there, so he said don't worry about it. And he's right. I shouldn't go down there. And I shouldn't irritate myself by going back over this. Oh, where are you off to? Some farming. Where are you going? You're just what I've pulled in. So it's amazing how used to driving a 91 I am, that even though I've just driven that thing for an hour, I got confused and thought I was driving the 91. Stupid, isn't it? Again, these are... Ooh, I don't know actually. Yeah, these are Brad Harding 91. Let's have a little peek. God, that's a view I've seen a million times as a kid. Been lifted up. My mate Big Al, one of my best mates is called Alan as well, and it was Big Al and Little Al because he was always taller than me. And he used to lift me up to have a look in there. How bad is that? But yeah, I remember that. So guys, thanks ever so much for watching. Feel free to like, share and subscribe as per usual. And those questions I was asking you, stick them in the comments. I do want to know. So what are your top 5 locos that you would like to see in Train Sim? And look forward to reading your answers. I'm going to hold off until the box appears at the end to say we've done it. So I don't know if Chris is going to have put anything in there or not. But we will have a look. Oh, and also I was asking about the Woodhead route as well. Would you like to see some older stuff? Because I've got quite a bit of it now. Not Steam though. I'm no Steam man whatsoever. I'm not anti-Steam, don't get me wrong. I just don't particularly like driving it. So that's the end of that. Is it going to tell me thank you? Or is it just going to kick me out of it? Nope. Okay. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you soon.